some of the insights from our Vedic rishis in contemporary, what you call science and technological world. This is me. My journey has been in our Vedic tradition in totality, from Rig Vedic traditions to Vedas, to Brahmanas, to Aranyaka, to Upanishad, to Puranas, to Smritis, and to modern scientific and technological world. And it started around 40 years ago when I came to this country directly from IIT Kanpur. With a PhD degree in mechanical engineering, I went to University of Florida. I was fortunate enough to be with the Department of Engineering Sciences. And I had a wonderful colleague, and it was a great inspiration for me. Colleagues like the chairperson was Dr. Knox Mills, who was one of the founding members of NASA, took retirement from MIT, and then he became the chairperson in the Department of Engineering Sciences. To my surprise, one day he called me, Shiv, have you heard of Darjeeling? I said, yes, I heard of Darjeeling, but I've never been to Darjeeling. How do you know about Darjeeling? And he said, I will tell you sometime in detail, but I will mention to you that the only tea I take, starting when I was very young, is the Darjeeling tea. I do not take any other tea. My father was the railway engineer who established the rail lines during British rule in Darjeeling area, and he used to tell me, Knox, when you go back, he was a British intellectual from Britain, London, and he said, when you grow big, I will take you to Darjeeling and I will show you the wonderful, beautiful place, the Darjeeling. I have never seen such a place on this planet. He died prematurely earlier in his life, and Knox Mills could not visit Darjeeling. He said, I made a vow that I will only take Darjeeling tea. In the parties, in the department, he will bring his own tea and serve everyone else. I had a good colleague, Karl Perhausen. He was next door to my office. He was a student of Theodor von Karman from Germany. Karman was the pioneer in establishing what we call the aerodynamics of the airplanes. Very giant. Another colleague was Professor Hans van Uhen. He was the co-inventor of jet engine in Germany. I have so many distinguished people that I had a opportunity to interact with. So my scope in depth here is going to be, because of time constraint, very few selective ideas and easy to understand levels, and I would appreciate your full attention. I have a lot of slides, and I beg in advance your pardon, because I have some bad habits. Number one, I do not use a sugar-coated language. I want to use authentic, precise language as far as I could understand and correlate to you. And my language sometimes can be harsh, sometimes it can be offensive to some of you, because truth has become, Satyam has become nowadays hurtful for a lot of people. They cannot hold on to Satyam, cannot listen to the Satyam, cannot act according to Satyam. And also, I have a tendency to talk too much. So I would appreciate and request Atulji, just before you think time is up, 10 minutes before, give me warning and shut me out when time comes in. I have a difficulty in relating to my experiences for last 40 years delving into the world of wisdom and to relate to you in a short period of time, because everyone has a distinctly different experiences and educational background. I will try to make it as easy as possible, give you some examples, and then we will have a kind of a journey. I will invite you to journey, and the journey starts with these my personal intellectual encounters. One of the encounters with Professor Koji Kawata in Tokyo is in 1886-87. I was in a conference there in Tokyo, or it was the Narita. And one morning on the tea table, just across me, an older person, he was at the time around 82 years of age, sitting in front of me and him, and he asked me, "Where do you come from?" And I was quite young that time. He said, "Where do you come from?" I said, "I come from USA." He said, "I understand that because you have a badge here from USA, but originally where are you from?" And I said, "Originally I'm from India." So he reached out to me across and patted on my shoulder. He said, "You are like my son, and I want to share two ideas with you today." And he was in tears. I was taken aback. It was a kind of a emotional shock for me. Why this person, I do not know him, why this person in tears? So anyway, he said, "Well, number one, I want to share with you. I have, my dear son, two mothers. Mother number one, I was born in Japan. Motherland in Japan is my first mother. And second mother is my India. India gave me all the wisdom. I had two mothers, I worship both of them." He said, "Number two, younger generation that I see now, teenagers I see now, I experience. I'm professor there at Tokyo University, you are a retired professor, and they do not seem to recognize any of their mothers." And then I asked him and found out about him that he was not an ordinary professor in Tokyo University. He was the scientific and technical advisor to the government of Japan after 1945. He was the prime architect of the science and technology policy of the Japanese government. So he used to travel to India, he used to travel around the world, and he was the one who was one of the principal architects to bring out the science and technical revolution in Japan. It was a thrilling and inspirational experience for me. Number two, Professor George Wald. This is, I think, around early 80s. He was retired. He was at Harvard University, a chemist. He took retirement from there. He was Nobel Prize winner in chemistry. And one day he was found to reading Bhagavad Gita. And he was not only reading, he was singing the hymns using the symbols, karta. It was found out by one of the investigative reporters, and he asked him, "What are you doing? What are you doing now after retirement?" And he answered in short. He said, "Well, I have been investigating in my chemical lab for the last 50 years at Harvard and many other universities the origin and source and meaning and purpose of life. How did life evolve? What it is for us?" I could not find those answers. And when I came across this little Bhagavad Gita book, I'm so thrilled that I think the answers are here. Can you believe that? People now the Hindus are looking at, I have to find sciences in my Vedic wisdom tradition. When I talk about Vedic wisdom, talk about the entirety, not leaving out one or the other. Looking for scientific. I said, well, the whole Vedic wisdom is founded on the science and supra-scientific principles. It is very science and supra-science, and you will come to know, giving you few examples. And why did we fail? We are also going to talk about it. Wonderful. So that's the George Wald. What he has to do with the Bhagavad Gita? Only the people who are retiree or something, they will start reading Bhagavad Gita. Youngsters will never read Bhagavad Gita, rarely read Bhagavad Gita. Oh, Bhagavad Gita is a religion. That's the greatest tragedy on Hindu wisdom tradition. Then Robert Mills, 1994, quantum physicist. I'm giving you the background, what I experienced by myself. And I said, what is going on in this world? So, Robert Mills, I called one day the Department of Physics. This was in 1994, 93, end of 93 or 94. I called him up, the Department of Physics, and I asked that who is the person dealing with now on the foundation of quantum physics. So he said, well, I think one of the professors picked up the phone. He said, well, I don't think really we are doing much about it because that's the bizarre field. There's no money there. And of course, Indians will always go where the money is. We know that very well. Everyone should go where the money is, but not where only the money is. So this is wonderful. So he said, well, only person I think maybe doing something is Robert Mills. I called the Robert Mills. And I said, sir, I am a very junior faculty in Department of Civil, Environmental Engineering and Geodetic Science. And I have a question for you. Are you still working in the field of foundations or what you call the paradoxes of quantum physics? He did not answer the question but asked another question. He said, well, what the civil engineer has to do with the quantum physics? Normal answer. And I gave the response. I said, sir, I am not only working in the paradoxes of quantum physics, but I am also working paradoxes found in my tradition, Rig Veda. As soon as I said this to him, he said, oh, that's wonderful. Can you review a chapter for me? I am writing a book, Space, Time and Quanta. Can you review one chapter for me. He sent me chapter out. I looked at the chapter. I could not sleep the whole night. It was wonderful. I called him next morning. I said, I agree with you more than 100%. There's no other way you can resolve the observer, the entanglement observer and the observed world without introducing the concept of what you call the Sakshi, independent observer from all the material worlds beyond and above the material world. He said, you are a minority. Because mainstream physicists will not let me publish this book. Because in the middle of the chapter, quotation is given, this wisdom is all, this idea is already found in Hindu wisdom tradition, just like in Patanjali Darshan. And he quoting directly from Patanjali Yoga Darshan. So I asked him, how long we have been looking at the Vedic wisdom? He said, for the last 20 years, through English translations. And this was not an ordinary person, Robert Mills. I asked Dr. E.C. Sudarshan, I don't know whether you have heard of him or not. He was a professor, a director of Center for Theoretical Physics at University of Texas, Austin, a world-renowned physicist. And when I told this incident to him, he said, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that. I said, you must believe it. Well, he is not the ordinary person. That is Young Mill's theory of renormalization quantum physics, and that was his graduate work for his professor. Young got the Nobel Prize. Then let's move on. Leroy Hood. He was a professor at the time at Caltech in Department of Biological Sciences. He was one of the pioneers of what he called the Genome Project. We were sitting together in my brother's home, and I asked him, sir, can I ask you two simple questions? He said, yes, please. I said, well, the first question is, you are working on Genome Project, and you have the understanding about that once we have the complete genetic makeup, then I can one-to-one correspondence, I can play out how the person will look like. Are you hoping to get there? He said, that is a difficult question I cannot answer. Too early to answer this question. And he said, why do we have 10 fingers? What symmetry you are talking about? Can we ever look at this? Why do we have 10 fingers? Why? The kind of symmetry we have and asymmetry we have in human body. We have only one heart, why not two? And he told me, Shiv, you have asked me the hard question. Science cannot explain those things. Science can only how it is, what ought to be, what it cannot be. That's very difficult for science to answer the question. So some of this background for you. I'm going to give you very big picture first. And then we'll talk about entanglement. And then we'll talk about source of birth and types of gross bodies. We'll talk about incarnation, rebirth. Little bit briefly, I will give you some idea. And we will talk about them, some deterministic and emergent paradigms in brief. That's the Western worldview. Broad categories, no matter what field of discipline you are talking about, does not matter. They have been broadly classified and categorized under three big circles here. I have a Venn diagram. Field of religion, ethics and morals, maintain ideas of God, salvation, etc. Field of art, aesthetics, all kinds of anthropology, humanity, sociology, psychology, political science, all those ideas. And a field of rationality and philosophy, and field of sciences, and field of reason. These fields are mutually exclusive. And the field of religion and field of science is not only exclusive, but antithetical, opposite to each other. This is fundamentally, these are the separated, isolated, disentangled fields of inquiry in the modern world. So these are the exclusive, incidents and intersection, separation, discordance, and field of religion contradictory, antithetical to the field of sciences. Since 2000 years of Abrahamic traditions, this struggle going on between the religion and sciences, and they are trying to make some kind of, now including some foundation like Templeton Foundation, trying to make some compromise between two aspects of human experiences. What they are trying to do, well, we can have some kind of marriage, we can have, these are the two sides of the coin. God created the natural world, human can subjugate and subdue idea. Make sure this is the, I'm using proper terminology according to their tradition. Subjugate, we are not part of the nature. Nature is not part of us. We are the master, we can subjugate, we can ridicule, we can pollute it. We can do all kinds of things because we are not part of the nature and nature is not part of us. Or they are complementary, living different ways. But the conclusion is, I fully concur the following verdict, that long-standing antagonism between science and religion is irreconcilable, have been taken for granted, and the wake of recent controversies over teaching intelligent design and ethics of the stem cell research, the divide seems as unbridgeable as ever. This was one of the distinguished thinkers. There is a long list of antagonism, including persecution, punishment, science book burning in the Western historical landscape. They cannot meet. Very simple. They cannot meet. How do they meet? Can they meet? Let's answer that question, how they can meet. Founding principle of Vedic Dharma, big picture. And I am giving you one Samhita, only one quotation here. Human body and cosmos. Cosmos is called a macrocosmos, and the body is called the microcosmos. Whatever is out there in principle, in basic idea, in basic ingredient, in basic all kinds of features, also exists within the human body. Whatever is in the human body exists outside the whole world, whole cosmos. And so very, very important big picture model. Next picture. Vedic categories. These categories, these fields were apart. They do not meet, they do not intersect, but they are contained in this Vedic tradition called the field of Dharmakshetra. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samvedaya Sava. Oh, wonderful, I tell you, the beauty and wonder. The word Kshetra comes up. It comes up in our Vedic system, but more importantly comes up in Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Kshetra. Field of Dharmakshetra, they are part of this part and parcel of all the investigations are in the field of Dharma Kshetra. If I use the word Dharma only, it does not make the whole sense. And I will going to little bit address later on. So that's the overarching field of Dharma. So give you an example. Separation of war between politics and religion. You have heard for a long time, actually more violently this separation of the war started during and after the French Revolution. It was taken over by the American Constitution. I do work in the American Constitution as well, the fundamental principle, founding principle. Yeah, in Abrahamic religions, yes, there has to be a separation of war. Because their religion field is exclusive, antithetical to everything else. Vedic Hindu Dharma Kshetra, yes, that is Ras Dharma, Ras Dharma Kshetra, Ras Niti Kshetra, Rajniti Kshetra are the foundation. No deity or devata comes into the our field of Ras Dharma or Raj Dharma or Rajniti. And what is the Ras Dharma? We decided the Constitution of India or Constitution of America is the Raj Dharma. Raj Dharma. This is how we have to govern by the people, for the people. So I'm not going to dwell upon it. The question of separation within the Hindu world wisdom context is meaningless. Separation of war, this concept collapses, does not have any meaning. If we keep using the religion, which we do all the time, whether you're talking about the BJP party or you're talking about any other party, many times they use Swamiji, saints, they use religion. A fundamentally incorrect, misleading, and dangerous concept. There is another field, Ekam Sat Brahman Bauddha Vadanti. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful, and if you look at the translation, reality is one. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Most of the translations of technical terminology coming out of Sanskrit in English language is fundamentally misleading, defective, incorrect. They cannot be translated. And we have done that. We are good at blindly following the blinds. We are good at that. There are three fields I'm not going to talk about: Adhyatmic field, Adidevic field, Adivautic field. They are the field related to the very existence in all dimensions, whether you are talking microcosm or you call macrocosm. And I will give you one example as we go along. And these are the, let's look at the biological eye. There is an eye here. This eye sitting here in the eyeball. This comes on the Adivautic field. Optic nerve engaging neurons comes in the Adhyatmic field. Act of seeing through particular brain region comes to Adhyatmic field. And Adhyatmic field is full of consciousness, the center of consciousness, cognitive structure within the human brain. So every entity, every idea, every language, the kind of language we're using can be defined, can be categorized, can be looked at it from these three broader concepts, which are the field concepts. Kshetra, like electromagnetic field. Somebody say, well, what does the field mean? Electromagnetic field. And how many types of lights, how many types of instruments can be hooked up? Field is one. Manifestations are many. inexhaustible. Field is electromagnetic field. That's the field concept, the very foundational principle on which the universe works. So I am giving all our interacting fields create wide variety of principles and practices, my dear friends. Then the concept comes up to what we call the Purushottam Purusha Prakriti. Prakriti Purushottam. These are the three entities, big entities, and yogic union of all these constitute all the bodies, natural world and the cosmos, all the bodies. Whether you're a microorganism or you have giants like dinosaurs. Whether you have divinity, many devatas, or you have human beings or animal world. All entities, material, non-material, animated or non-animated, they are all sentient, they are all made up of these fields. Now, Dharma, you may ask me, give me a simple definition of Dharma. Okay, so I call dharmas of the body, not religion. Do not even use the word religion or you will be thrown out of the window. They are not religion, they are dharmas. Very properties of the body itself at certain levels of manifestation. What? Body grows, develops, reaches organized, coordinated and limiting configuration. Body stays and remains youthful. Body gets old and diseased. Body decays and body meets its own death. I don't die, my body dies. And we can witness here, looking at our sons and daughters, grandchildren. Oh, we were like that at one time. Don't you think so? And they're growing and getting older and older and older. Up to 50 years I used to sing a song, Umariya badhti jaye re. I am getting bigger and bigger or younger and younger. Or after 50 years, Umariya ghatti jaye re. Every minute we are going toward the body, is going toward the death. So, but Atman, if you are using the word soul here, my dear friends, I have bad news. Entire Vedic tradition, entire up to ancient Greek tradition, there is no equivalent term in any of the cultures around the world. Atman is a fundamentally a Purusha, is a fundamentally different entity than anything. So if you are using soul, you are creating a misleading and corrupt information. And look at the website, hundreds of Swamis, hundreds of yogis, they use the soul, hundreds of thinkers, writers, they use soul. And this is one example that I have given a big talk actually. If you want to give, I gave him 24 topics. It was one of them, but he selected this one. Thank you so much, Atulji. Whatever is your choice, you are so wonderful. You are my guru, you are my guide. In International Vedanta Conference, there were 250 attendants. From all around the world, the philosophers, the scientists, the thinkers, the Swami, I challenge them. I've done all that research all the way going back to Vedic. There are no equivalent terms. Oh, here is wonderful. Here is the mystery. Here is wonder. Here is the beauty. This is the Sankhya Yoga. Here is Sankhya Yoga. Don't worry about reading all this. Okay, don't worry about it. I'm going to this slide. I'm going to pick up the Ahankara. Ahankara is really, ego identity is not a good term to use, but in Western tradition, starting from Freud or the Carl Jung, I have read both these, the Western psychology. Carl Jung, they started ego, but ego and ahankara. Ahankara means basically I maker. Ahankara, where the first differentiation takes place. Here many doctors are, Dr. Patel is sitting there. The first differentiation is the start with ahankara. And all this entire cosmos and the microcosm is a really subset or the branches, just like hands or limbs of that ahankara. So let's go to the next one. This is wonderful. I tell you, you will jump from your the seats. It's very wonderful. There are separate, distinct, and differentiated from the common source ahankara. Sense of smell, sense of taste, we can witness those. We are the witness. Sense of touch, sense of form, sense of sound. But can they manifest coupled, intermingled? Can that happen? Go back to senses, to the ahankara, field of ahankara. Each one is the field concept. I have not written down the field in every one. I gave you the idea. Every term is a field concept, Chetra. Many manifestations in different conditions. So when you go back, this was really, I think it was the 1980, mid-80s, when I was looking at the Sankhya Yoga tradition, I raised this question myself. I said, how come is it possible? Can we see in real life if we go back and where these senses are intermingled, they have not separated out? Just like in the growth of a fetus in your womb, in mother's womb. The separation starts slowly and slowly. Initially, they are all intermingled. They do not really have distinctive features. So that was the question. I said, well, let me keep looking at. Then I found out a man who tasted shapes. This was written in 1993 by Professor Richard Kaitovic. Or Saitovic, I don't know how we pronounce it. 1993. Color synthesis, this is called the phenomenon called synesthesia. Have you heard of synesthesia? How many of you heard of? There's the anesthesia, This is the synesthesia. And what happens in synesthesia, all these senses get jumbled. And when somebody was mentioning the man who tasted shape. So when he was eating the food, he was also sensing that he's eating triangles, rectangles, circles, ovals, and many musical scales and tones. So when you see something, you also see the colors. You see also hear the tonal sound. All these have been mixed up. This is called synesthesia. Initially, when Dr. Kaitovic, he wrote down the book and wrote down the papers, the medical community will say, oh, you're a bunch of a fool. You do not know what you're talking about. This cannot happen. This does not make sense. Because the concept was modular. The brain was modular. It means each module only deals with one sense at it. Throughout, the chain connected only to one sense. It cannot have synesthesia. Now it has become called field. Now look at what? This was first observed in 1812. Did we observe? Did we talk about it? Did we ever correlate even today? Did we ever correlate with the Sankhya Yoga? This should have happened. In many such phenomena I have noticed. It did not happen. We are simply, I think we are, I have to wait till come the last minute. I'm not going to talk about how many types of bodies human sarira have been looked at, documented by the Vedic wisdom tradition. Not at one place, you have to look for the entire Vedic tradition. And each classification and categorization have a distinctive features and idea and the worldview that can then relate to the real life experiences. So I will go quickly over all kinds of bodies, and looks like the energetic body based on Kundalini chakra. And then we have field of medicine and health, anatomical body, physiological, biological, biochemical, chemical, neurological, genetical, epigenetical, psycho-neuroimmunological body. That's the latest discovery or proposal in the field of health and medical science. Then nature and nurture domains. Oh my goodness. Summary. Dominant paradigm in Western medicine are materialistic, mechanistic, reductionistic, and body as the machine. That's the major dominant paradigm. Other types of bodies, yoga bodies, layers body, other kind of bodies have not been investigated, have not been proposed throughout the Western tradition. They do not exist. Even the subtle body or causal body, law of karma, and migration, transmigration of the body, nothing exists. Vedic paradigm is, as we have been talking about, my proposal based on my yogic contemplation, human body, yagni yoga dharmic cheta sharira, or apara prakriti sharira. This is the scientific idea. Modern scientific idea, you have to classify, categorize, use a new terminology for new phenomena. Don't you agree with me? And if we do not do, we seek to repeat all the same parroting, the same information over and over without doing anything about it, without unfolding it in new dimensions, without even talking about new dimensions, without writing about new dimensions. We are doomed. Look at this Sankhya Sutra. How many bodies? Born of heat, born of air, born of the womb, born from the seeds, born from the will mind. We do not have in the modern scientific understanding the born of some siddhi, born of yagna, and many more. They are not there in the modern Western scientific world. We all have these. And more, I have not listed down, I picked this. How many types of bodies, how many types of birth can take place? Only, this is really a wonderful phenomenon. One body with both male and female sex and genders. This is the Vedic wisdom I'm talking about. And which is also available in the real life in this world, in various kind of animal world and insect world. One body without any male-female distinction. But birthing to female body only. Female body also can give birth. Male body only can give birth. Or body is not capable of giving birth. We have three prakriti, male, female, and tritiya prakriti, which comes neither male nor female. You are female or transgender categories. Wide variety of transgender category comes within the Vedic tradition. Okay, many of you, I was talking to Atulji, many of you may not believe in rebirth or reincarnation phenomena. You don't have to trust me, you don't have to trust Vedic rishis, you don't have to trust more than 5,000 years of experience written down, you do not have to trust anything, anyone, but look at, if you are very much in the mode of, or trapped in the mode of modern scientific paradigm, then I think you should look at the Brian Weiss book. Many lives, many masters, and this lady, which is a lady here, Catherine, is a given name, it's not a real name, she had lived she had memories of past 86 births. She went all the way to 500, 600 BC. And she had vivid memories of 10 to 12 past lives. Brian Wiley, go on the Google. He is giving lectures also. He was a very distinguished psychiatrist in this country. And this lady was sent to him because she was not able to be cured by other psychiatric care, all kinds of medicines in that because of deep depression, deep anxiety. Dr. Boyle had put her into deep regression. And what he discovered, it was mind-boggling. He recorded everything, he wrote the book. He said, I cannot believe it because she stunned me so much. Why? Because I am a scientist and I come from Jewish tradition. I don't believe in rebirth. But after getting through this experience, I strongly believe we have lived together. Somewhere we met somewhere, sometime in the past life as well. I strongly believe it. And actually she was cured. And a lot of other people have documented in the Western world. These are the real incidents, cannot be explained any other way. Okay? So this is very important, so you must read that book. And he said, Hindus believe, and I strongly believe, and my life has transformed. Not only that, in fact, it's so interesting. He said, I was struck by the fact, she told me in one session that about my life. Hidden secret of my life that nobody knew except me. How could she know? And she told me, Doctor, not the first time I'm meeting with you. In this life you were this, I was this. In this life you were this, in the several lives I have met together somehow. You don't recognize, I recognize.